Hi all, welcome back to Red Storm. Dark Blue Defection, we're playing the Dark Blue Defection expansion with it's got 10 scenarios. It does have 10 scenarios, doesn't it? I think it's 10. Yeah, 10 scenarios, this 10th one being Showdown. Well, this is, I know you can still see what's left over scenario 4. Iron Eagle. I just come back from work today and thought I'd just add this. I was kind of hoping I might have got some comments for John on the very last part, because he's made 3 comments on part 28. That's 28, isn't it? 29 was the last one, yeah. So this isn't going to be part 30. I'm basically just going to have this as an introduction to part 1 of the next scenario, I guess. NSC4, which is Dark Blue Defection. So I think I'll just title it that and just add just wanted to the 2 or 3 points that he's made, because it did turn out that with me rushing at the end there, and what I might do is, by the time if I just record these couple of comments, it might give him time to catch anything from that last part as well. What am I trying to do here? Right, okay. So, 3 comments, and they were quite relevant. They were kind of, well, they were mistakes, really. 2 of them in particular. I think I got away with these in a kind of way. First of all, our slam flight here. Now, I know if any of you are tuning in, watching NSC, looking for Dark Blue Defection NSC4, which is titled Dark Blue Defection. This is probably meaning nothing to you unless you've watched the previous one, but I needed to add this in. Where's Slam? Slam were our bomber flights, and I decided to say they were aborting because their task was now in a state of, hang on until I get it up here. They were doing bombing, and they're rate of ground and they're rate of air, but there's another thing in the task, the behaviour. Their other behaviour would be abort if all air to ground ordnance jettisoned. Now, I just didn't read that last word, jettisoned, or I didn't register it being a different thing from just having used up your weapons. So John has said Slam did not jettison their ordnance, they dropped it on the target, so they do not abort, but instead continue on the flight path. So they would continue following the rules of the Dark Blue Defection, how the bot works, which would have been to follow the... and I kind of wondered, because I thought they were never going to reach 5 and 6. I suppose, unless they didn't drop all their bombs, I suppose we could have done that. So, however, they should not have aborted and headed straight back. They should have followed the wave path round. Now, it wasn't a problem. I had them at high altitude at the time, so they would have just flew over the top of any danger. Now, the other thing, there's another thing as well, but right, let's talk about one of his other comments. So that shouldn't have happened, and they might not have got right back to where they are. Because they would have had to follow the way path round, and there was only a couple of turns left. So they might not quite have got to there. It's possible they might have still not got crossed into the friendly front, right? And then let me add, one of the other John's comments was that Cobra, and I see, if I go and look at the timestamp, I'm sure I remember looking to see if Disordered stopped Cobra from using using dash throttle. However, it's not that, and as John points out, Cobra has a crippled aircraft. That is why that flight cannot use dash throttle. So yet again, Cobra wouldn't have got quite as far along here. Probably still back here, maybe again on the other side of the front. He would not have been able to roll for this disorder removal. That didn't affect any points. The only thing that might have affected some points would have been the crippled aircraft in Cobra and the crippled aircraft in Saint. No. Saint was fine. The crippled aircraft in Cobra and the damaged aircraft in Slam may have still been over the other side of the front when they rolled for recovery. Now, that doesn't matter as such. The only part that it would matter is if we didn't recover them, because then they would crash. Well, actually, no, the crippled one. Would the crippled one? Would the damaged one become? No, I think they just crash actually. 20.2. I'd have to glance at that. Yeah, in actual fact, yeah, it would be. It says if the roll is 2 or greater, the aircraft recovers safely. Otherwise, the aircraft is lost. And then it talks here about if the aircraft's flight ended the scenario on the map on the enemy side of the front, roll a die. Oh, hang on. If the aircraft's flight ended the scenario on the map on the enemy side of the front, roll a die. On a 5 or higher, the crew is rescued. On a 4 or less, the crew is captured. Does that mean even after they've recovered safely then? I kind of thought that would mean... No, okay, hang on. Yeah, I suppose if I just read it. Now, I'm reading in 20.2 here, recovery rolls on page 40. For CSAR, which is... that's... Search and rescue. Something search and rescue, I think. For CSAR purposes, the fate of the crew of an aircraft that fails to recover depends on where it ended the scenario. If the aircraft's flight landed at a friendly airfield, exited the map during the scenario, or ended the scenario on the map on the friendly side of the front, the crew is automatically rescued. If the aircraft's flight ended the scenario on the map on the enemy side of the front, roll a die. On a 5 or higher, the crew is rescued. On a 4 or less, the crew is captured. Roll for each crew member separately. So, in actual fact, any day flights that I've spoke about, Slam and Cobra may well not have reached the friendly side of the front. So I thought it was only if the aircraft crashed, and it was a bailout thing that they were on the wrong side. But in actual fact, I might have had to roll for them. Now I'm not going to go back and try and work that out, because I need to work out where they were, because I think we dashed Cobra twice at the speed of 8, so we would have only had the speed of 5. I want to say he messed about there one turn, so I think he would have got across safely. As for Slam, well, you know what? I think he probably would have got safely as well, because although he had a slight detour up that way, you can see he's well across the front. He would still been able to dash throttle and at a high altitude get a speed of 7. It's just that he would have had to follow the sort of waypoints up there, and he wasn't that far from following them. So I'm going to kind of say that they made it, but I suppose there's a bit of an asterisk there to say that no, I don't think it is possible. When I'm thinking back now, I think they both would have made it across the front. Now, hang on though. There you go then. Now that I've found that out, we do have a roll for Saint, because Saint is across the wrong side of the front. Now, he rolled for that crippled aircraft. The fate of the crew of an aircraft that fails to recover. Fails to recover, Grant. Right, I'm talking rubbish then. Sorry, I thought that was the case. I thought it was if it failed its recovery roll, this is where you check this. But I just read it there wrong way that time and thought that you had to check it anyway. Okay. So, it basically means that flight is recovered. It's recovered from crippled, but it's still in a state where it can still fly back, basically. I think that's what it's saying. Okay, the other comment John made was visual ID and visual detection are two different things. Even adjacent in the same hex, you have to roll for visual detection. Now, he's got that stamped at 1 hour and 2 minutes and 20 seconds. I seem to recall having 2 flights adjacent, and it sounds like I spoke wrongly about it there. But I will keep that in mind, John, and take that forward with me. That there is, obviously, I know there is a difference between the two, but maybe I was mixing up how I was speaking about it and trying to do it. I get the feeling it was for Cisco, was that it? Siskov's flight, but he was the sworder at the time, and I think that stopped him from doing any kind of detection at all, if I recall rightly. Okay, well, I've spent 10 minutes there. Right, I'm going to take a pause now, and yeah, I'm maybe going to set up the next scenario. I don't know. I do have that game on the other table, sitting waiting, but yeah. Well, I'll pause here because John may still have comments to make on part 29, so we can maybe add them in here first, and then, well, then I'll maybe set up the new scenario. We shall see. Okay, cheers. Hi all. Right, this is Red Storm, Dark Blue Defection. This is still a continuation of Scenario 4, Iron Eagle. This is going to be part 30 of that. However, you've just seen a 10-minute introduction to what I was going to start as the beginning of Scenario 5. I still had the map set up for Scenario 4. Just wanted to talk about John's comments from part 28, and I kind of hoped he would come in with the comments for 29 before I destroyed the map and set up the new scenario. You weren't in good enough time there, John. We weren't on the same wavelength. It could be a sort of time thing as well, though. I'm sure you're maybe, it's the middle of the morning for you or something, and I'm in the evening somewhere or something. Anyway, so he just came in with the comments just as I set this up. I was like, that timing's off. So I decided to just create a part 30 to Scenario 4. So I'll put that in the header because I think I start off with the introduction as saying that this is the start of Scenario 5. Which you can see, this is what this is on the map. And there's no spoilers here. I've recorded a part of this, just an introduction part, showing everything. I've not done anything yet. So it's only 30 minutes or so, and I decided to I'm going to upload that as just an introduction, because it's just, and then people that aren't interested in that can, move on to the next part where there's some gameplay. Because it looks like I should be able to get into it right away. Well, yeah, you say that, Grant, but yeah. So I thought that now the problem is here. I'm talking about Scenario 4, and we're looking at something that's not relevant to it. I can't point at anything and say this, that, and the next thing. Whether I could show something on the map. Yeah, I've took everything away. I've set everything new up. Of course, so there's two big comments I want to make myself. So yeah, this is difficult. Yeah, that's why I still wanted things on the map when I talked about this. But although one of these things I only just noticed myself when I was reading. I'll tell you what it was. It was when I was reading the special scenario rules for Scenario 5. And they're the same as Scenario 4. Rule number 8 is bot flight target priority for engagement actions is detected good order flights first. And that kind of like rang a bell for me. Now John didn't pick up on this, or anybody else for that matter. But I still think it was a mistake I'd made, and I'm guessing he maybe just missed it too. I tried to keep that in my mind because that says detected good order flights first. And it's funny because at one point I was trying to fight Cobra flight with a Warsaw Pact flight, and I manoeuvred things and looked through things, and then eventually I thought he was undetected. However, the second attack that was made on Cobra flight was when he was detected, but he was disordered. And when reading that, I thought, wait a minute, we shouldn't have attacked. The Warsaw Pact flight shouldn't have attacked him. And it's when the flight, I want to say it's that attack that was when the flight came off the worst. Because, well, in fact, yeah, John even commented, because I made a mistake. I was Yeah, I forgot about that. Yeah, because I made a mistake. I counted the number of aircraft in the flight as 3, and then John corrected me and said, look, in disordered flights, where it should be put in curve 1 somewhere. Hang on, till we get yeah. Yeah, here. Yeah, because I had to go and correct this, didn't I? Yeah, flight is in the defensive wheel or disordered. Use the 1 column, because I used the 3 column for Cobra at that time, and John corrected me and said you should have used the 1 column because of this. However, I shouldn't have even the Warsaw Pact flight, unless I'm missing something else. John, you can go back and have a look yourself. I don't think the Warsaw Pact flight should have even attacked Cobra in the first place. It should have, because although it was sitting right on top of Cobra, it was the nearest flight and it was detected, it wasn't good order. And that's what that special scenario rule, I mean, I'm assuming that's what it means in good order. Detected good order flights first. I can only assume that it means that it doesn't look at disordered flights. Which kind of makes sense in a way, isn't it? I mean, why is it going to bother about a flight that's really out the game now and it's, anyway, okay, so I've put a comment in the head. That was part 22 if you want to go and look at it, John, as well. Part 22, I just put the comment in the header just now about that. And then earlier on today as well, it was part 25. I also put a comment in the header because when I made my big mistake in part 26 and I had to redo it, and this was Silver Fox flight attacking, again, sorry, I can't show anything here. The Silver Fox flight attacking in BVR, and then we went right through the whole part, right through to 40 odd minutes, and I realised that I couldn't have done that because I was breaking the rules of engagement, because we had 2 friendly flights within 2 hexes. So I had to wind back and redo that. Well, while I was watching back in part 25, I do exactly the same thing with Saint Flight. It is, I think it's Saint Flight. I do exactly the same thing because I'm getting all confused watching it back because I'm trying to catch up on my videos here as well, because I made the decision as things were moving along there. I made the decision just to chuck the videos out there rather than reviewing them, and I don't like doing that. And you can see where it's got messy that way, but it was just because I had the weekend off and I knew I was going to get a lot done, and basically wanted to throw them out there for John to look at and and anybody else that wanted to sort of make comments on. But that shouldn't, and I don't think John made comment on that either. That shouldn't have happened. I wasn't allowed to do BVR combat, and that was in part 25 as well, John, again, if you want to look. However, the BVR turned out to be a whole lot of nothing because I rolled poorly, so I kind of got away with that there. As for the Warsaw Pact flight on Cobra, and he should have attacked somebody else, there's nothing I can do about that. It's gone now, so we'll never kind of know. So it does put a bit of an asterisk on things about if that would have. My thinking is the Zelenko flight would have went for either Saint or Silver Fox, So it could possibly be that it wasn't able to reach them, but I'm pretty sure it could. I think I clearly had in my head, look, Cobra, we were sitting right on top. It was sitting right on top of Cobra. They were in the same hex, and I was saying, well, obviously that's the closest, but I didn't think about that good order flights first. So there we go. But unless again I'm getting that wrong, by all means, let me know, John. Okay, so his comments from part 29, and again I can't really show anything, so you're just going to have to go. Anybody that's watching this, I'm going to put a comment also in the header of this part 30 that it's just going over some comments that have been made by John, about the end of the end of things. I mean, his two that I've already mentioned were kind of huge, although I think I get away with them, and the fact that I was trying to dash Cobra Flight, which was disordered, and I was trying to, I aborted my bombing flight, and it shouldn't have. It should have carried on doing its, it was out of weapons, but it only aborts if it jettisons the weapons. Whereas it didn't do that, it used the weapons. So it still continues in its flight path. I think I would have got away with them both. But they needed to be talked about, I think. Yeah. Right, so quick, let's get this put together as a part and finish off part 30 and then put to bed scenario 4. So he starts with a general comment. He says, just noticing this video, and probably not a big deal, but Condor is way too close to the front at the start of his 9th turn movement for a standoff jamming flight. And yeah, obviously just completely forgot about that. Again, like you say, if you're watching this and kind of understand it, you'll know where we were. Sorry, I can't sort of show you, but I'm doing this because Condor flight was moving that way, but it was obviously moving a bit close to the front. I've not looked back on it, John, but obviously it needed to be, was it 5 hexes away? It needed to be, or maybe even more than that. It was one of the conditions. It might have even been 7 hexes. I can't remember, but he says not a big deal, but Condor is way too close to the front. Start of his 9th turn. It wasn't a big deal. Again, it's something I can live with. He shouldn't have been there, but I don't think any jamming occurred for me to have benefited anything from it. So I'm okay with things like that. That's fine. Although, thanks for bringing it up because it was a mistake. So he's got timestamps here. So, but I can't. Okay, I should look at them just to see maybe. Yeah, this is at the 15-minute mark. Again, this is part 29 of scenario 4. Yeah, and did I not start looking into this again? I'm sure I did. Let me get the rule book going here. I started talking about BVR and air-to-air, standard air-to-air in the one thing, and then I was like, no, I don't think I can do that. It's something I've never done, you see. So John says, another option is to start with BVR from 1 hex away, and then have the option to enter the hex and attempt standard engagement. He says, but yes, BVR only is less risky. I think that's when I was seriously considering about what to do with, I want to say it was Saint Flight, I think. And, well, there you go. I mean, because we've not done it before, we've either done BVR or we've done air-to-air. But I do recall talking about it. I was saying, and then I started thinking it was maybe an F-15 only thing, but that was bothering me too. Here we are. A flight that attempts BVR engagement on an enemy flight, regardless of the result, may also attempt to engage that same flight only in standard air-to-air combat. There you go, I found that right away. John's not referenced that. I went to that rule right away on page 17. May also attempt to engage that same enemy flight only, it's got in brackets, so it's only that one you can do, in standard air-to-air combat later in the same movement phase. The BVR combat must take place before the standard air-to-air combat. So there you go. And we could have set that up there. And yeah. And I think I want to say that the BVR combat there was a bit of a dud, wasn't it? If I recall rightly. I could be wrong. There was a good one and a bad one, I think. Okay, well, at least hopefully that'll stick with me now, John. Fingers crossed. Right, so okay, this is, I'm not going to go over this one. At the 24-minute and 20-second mark, he says there are a couple of ways you could end up with 1 movement point left and still be able to move in and attempt standard air-to-air combat if you want to risk it. I'm I'm not going to read through that because it's not going to make any sense to anybody unless you're actually watching, and I can't show you it here. It's probably better ways of using your movement points and how I do it. I'm sure. I'm going to have a glance at myself, John, just to see how it is you're going about that. But I won't try and explain it to people here. The comments there, it's all time stamped. Go and have a look about how to do it properly. 32 and the 15-second mark. Yep, replace the radar suppress with a radar shutdown marker, then roll and remove the shutdown marker. Yeah. Oh, did I not roll to remove the shutdown marker? I removed the radar suppress marker. Put a shutdown. No, I think, did I do that right? I'm starting to doubt myself. I don't think I did I? Right, okay, just had a look. Yes, yeah, I do this. I was just, it wasn't ringing bells. Yeah, so replace the radar suppress with a radar shutdown marker, then roll and remove the shutdown marker. If the roll is successful, the bot will then turn the radar back on. Yeah. I guess I wasn't sure if it all happened at the one time there, because it looked like it was all in the admin phase. I think the way I done it was okay. However, he carries on, and he's got in brackets, and I hadn't put 2 and 2 together until now. He won't be able to acquire anyone until after the movement phase of the final turn. I doubt any of your flights are going to get close enough from an electro-optical tracking shot, and LOL shots require the radar to start off. Well, I never thought about any of this. But yeah, we were kind of just getting out of there, weren't we? No, they do have quite a big range though, don't they? Yeah. I was forgetting they've got quite a long range, haven't they? 10 hexes, I think. Well, he carries on. So unless you wanted to overrule the normal bot behaviour and leave the radar off to enable LOL shot, that SA11 is not going to have a chance at a shot. So mate, I hadn't thought about any of that, John, but I suppose, yeah. But I think we've done it right there, and yeah, okay. Right, moving on. Right, hang on. Okay, this one was good to know. At the 42-minute mark, he says both AAA and SAM attacks happen after the movement point is expended. So the SAM cannot attack because you're now 3 hexes away. It's when I was moving, yeah, I mean, we had a SAM here and I was here, shall we say. So I was 2 hexes away from a SAM that can fire 2 hexes away. SAM was here and we were here. And then I moved from here to here. And I thought because I was expending the movement point in there, the SAM could still fire. But something felt a bit odd about it. I think I took the fire, but he says, so the SAM cannot attack because you're now 3 hexes away. And he explains it better here. He says the altitude thing is different. Because I was saying that if I was in this hex and I climbed from medium to high, out of this high would be out of the SAM's altitude range. However, the medium would be. He says, but we're still in the same hex, you see. So he says the altitude thing is different since you aren't changing range, and the rules specifically allow the AAA owner to choose the altitude for the attack in that instance. However, the rules are silent on how this works for SAMs, though for solo play, I tend to also give the SAM the better altitude modifier. Yeah, altitude thing is different. Yeah, you're changing range. Yeah, there's a difference between moving a hex than moving an altitude band, if you like. That's what that's saying. So that's good to know that for the future for that. Although, yeah, I guess. Well, I think I took the shot on that, didn't I? In situations like that, if you're not sure, you're always better just giving the benefit of the doubt. But good to know that that I'll not do that in the future, hopefully. Right, Right, this is at the 54-minute and 15-second mark. This was me talking about the wording. Yeah, disengaging, and it says the bot will attempt to disengage. And I was confused because there's no die roll, there's not any kind of check or anything like that. And so John gives an explanation of what he thinks. He says, I believe it is worded as attempt, in quotes, since the attacker may still be able to engage, i.e. get some shots, i.e. the flight is attempting to engage, but to disengage, but it may or may not prevent the attacker from getting any shots. So fair enough, he's trying to give it some explanation of why it says attempt, because it's like it's attempting to avoid shots and attempting that. He does agree though that elect or choose might be words better used and less confusing. Okay, so good stuff. Yeah, did I do this? Okay, I don't know why I did this one, to be honest. I thought I should have known this one. Okay, I've just watched that back, and no, I did think I was doing that right, and you're... actually, see, 12.1 for the rules reference. Well, let's have a look. Not that I doubt you, John, but let's have a look. Yeah, that's one of the ones I've read in just the wrong way. I mean... Well, the thing is, it's not written poorly or that. It's just one of the things I think you could read that I'd like to say I'm maybe not the only person that might have read it that way. And we're talking about, have I explained what we're talking about yet? I don't think so. This is at the 1 hour and 40-second mark. And John says, a damaged or crippled result on an already damaged damaged/crippled aircraft only increases damage level by 1, which in this case is to damaged, is from damaged to crippled. So Siskov 2 is now crippled, not shot down. See 12.1 for the rules reference. And yeah, I shot it down because it was damaged and it got a crippled result on top of the damage. And I kind of thought, well, I'm kind of looking at damage as like 1. Like shot down's 3, crippled's 2, damage is 1. So we've got 1. We're adding a crippled result, which is 2, which is shooting it down, eh? But no, that doesn't say that in the rules, as John's pointed out. It says, if a damaged/crippled aircraft is damaged or crippled again, its damage level is increased by 1 level, from damaged to crippled, crippled to shot down. Yeah, so I kind of assumed that a damage with a crippled on it would shoot it down. Where if the result was the other way about, if it was crippled and got damaged or crippled again, it would have been shot down. But it was only damaged in the first place, and a crippled result does not shoot down, it just makes it crippled. So he does also add, and I get away with it this way again, he says actually it doesn't matter for victory point purposes, since crippled and Warsaw Pact shot down are both worth 2 victory points. So I think points wise we were okay again there, but yeah, a few blunders towards the end. Well, that one I wouldn't have got, to be honest. Yeah, and again, it's good to find out with these. I'll hopefully, I shouldn't make that mistake again. You'd like to hope. Right, and then the very last comment at the 1 hour and 13-minute mark. I was confused at first when I read this because I thought he was trying to say something different to what I'd dealt with, because I think I might have mentioned this in the earlier part of this video that I'm recording just now. Well, let's see what John said. He says, not quite. Recovery 20.2 in the rules takes into account that the aircraft may have made it to friendly territory. You roll for each crew member, and on a 5+ they are rescued. Otherwise they are captured. And yeah, I think I might have got that in the beginning of this video, actually, in that first 10-minute period when I looked it up, because I thought I was doing something wrong, and then I actually thought John was trying to say that, and then I was going to challenge that, and then when I read what he was meaning, all that doesn't make much sense, does it, Grant? Yeah, I think I was trying to say it because a couple of my flights, because I made mistakes, were in doubt to whether they had got across to the friendly side of the front. And if you roll for recovery and fail, no, let's not confuse things. If you roll and fail and you're over the other side of the front, then they'll get captured. I don't think we had any of that. There was not a worry in it. Well, every recovery roll succeeded for every aircraft, including the Warsaw Pact ones, didn't it? There was no failures of recovery, so that wouldn't have happened anyway. It's only if you fail the recovery. That's right, isn't it? I think. Okay. Right. Well, thanks for all your comments, John, and that's that scenario done. Okay, there's definitely a couple of, the annoys me thinking, the biggest one now is the attack on that Cobra flight that shouldn't have made, and should have went for one of the other flights, which might have ended up being better for the Warsaw Pact side, might have changed the result slightly. I still feel like we've done well enough to come through that, though, even with our poor rule for the damage on the, well, not just the damage, the attack on the runway itself with our 72 strength, and then following up with our poor damage rule, was pretty miserable finish to that. However, it was good. Most enjoyable. So we'll put this to bed now, I think. And if there's any more comments come in, I'll just I'll bring them in within scenario 5, I think. I just thought I'll get this set up again. It's good. I like it. I had the comment from Martin there. Where are you, Martin? Where is it? Who's followed, if you don't know, he's followed some of my other games, big John Butterfield fan as well, so Enemy Action Kharkov and Ardennes and the DD Act series. What was he saying? This is a game I would have purchased if I hadn't already have a large pile of unplayed titles. I'm sure we're all like that in a way, Martin, so you can't get away with that one. However, his next comment, I get. It appears to be a lot of fun for two people, but the solo bot appears to be a little too nice for my tastes, and I totally see that. And I don't want to knock the bot. I'm enjoying this. I really am. I think there's a good bit. If somebody had the, if somebody was willing, I think the bot could be. Yeah, I feel like there could be a lot more done for it, but I couldn't sort of try any of that, I don't think. But there's people out there that can do that sort of stuff. I don't know. I just feel there's a lot more that could be tightened up and turned into something much more complex and detailed than that. I think that's what Martin's talking about. And yeah, I mean, I've sort of, not complained, but made my thoughts on how I feel about some of the bots' ideas. And of course, I'm not wanting to be a 2-player playing solo kind of game and just say, oh, we'll just do that instead. I don't want that. I want the bot to guide me. I want it to do everything for me. But yeah, I understand your thoughts there, Martin. Okay. What will we? We'll just leave that now. I think that I had 10 minutes already, so that's 40 minutes or so. And I'm looking forward to this. scenario 5. Well, I've got the introduction already recorded for it, so I won't start talking about that again. I've done all that. You can see that in that part. In fact, I'll probably just chuck that part out there once it's just uploading just now. So, yeah, just as well, I think. And well, I'll put this together and throw this out as well. So that'll be that. So I'll be back. That'll be me for tonight, I think. Yeah, I better get some other things done. And but work's been gentle to me for the next couple of days, but it might start getting a bit nasty as things move on. And yeah, but no doubt I'll get a bit in here and there. Okay, right, I'll be back with scenario 5. Well, unless I get over that other table, but I just find it unlikely just now. And that's me now set up this scenario as well, so it's even less likely, I think. So more than likely we'll be back with more of this sometime soon. Okay, cheers.